bright sunny day in Hui, or Hui. I actually can't quite tell how to say it properly. I feel like everyone I've talked to has said it differently. Hui was the imperial capital. There's a lot of imperial mausoleums, and that's what it's really well known for. So a lot of UNESCO heritage sites here. Quite well preserved history, all things considered. I'm at the outermost one, the mausoleum of Emperor Gialong. I really like it here. It's so peaceful. There's nobody here. I'll tell you what I did for the tickets because I think that's very important information for anybody wanting to visit. I paid 600,000 for a ticket to go and see all the sites. I paid for it here for a physical one. It was another 40,000 for a two-way electric car ride in this particular mausoleum. I love this place because it's got such a beautiful garden with so many lily pads. See, I don't even want to go, and I don't care if I never went in the tomb. I could stare at this all day. I think most of what I do in Hui is just going to be like seeing these sites. I paid for 12, so I'm going to see all 12. I don't think that's quite right, actually. 12 is a lot. This place is fucking massive. I'm assuming that the 12 sites are this. Really should have done my research, but where I'm now is the furthermost from the city center. Figured start out and move my way in. You know, it's kind of funny to me that this is considered a minor tomb. I mean, I guess it gives me something to really look forward to in the more major ones. Mind you, there's really not a hell of a lot here. There's a mausoleum, there's a temple, and there's another structure over there. A couple of statues. Really does remind me of more East Asian architecture, more so than Southeast Asian. I think the unfortunate part is a lot of this mausoleum is probably best enjoyed actually having a walk around this lake. It's too hot, simply put. But I do love this lush greenery. It's a good change of pace from the city. This way, I was thinking, I can't believe this is a minor tomb because Gia Long, a little bit of Vietnamese history for you, is the founder of the Nguyen Empire and is actually responsible for calling Vietnam, Vietnam. He actually named this this plot of land, you know, big plot of land, Vietnam. He was a military general before he claimed himself the title of an emperor. That's why he decided to nestle his tomb, I think, in a naturally defensible position. Yeah, this is a beautiful pine forest. This actually really reminds me of where my grandfather was buried. Well, I guess he's still buried there, but place has just changed a lot. Doing a little bit more reading on the history of the name of Vietnam. When Gia Long named Vietnam, he originally wanted it to be Nam Bet, meaning Nam means south, and Bet meaning of the Vet people. So South and Vet people, country of the South and Vet people. So then he brought this up with the Emperor of Qing China and worried Nam Bet would give the Vietnamese people the ability to claim places like Gwangju, because there used to be an ancient empire that used to cover all of this land as well as the Guangzhou area, so southern China area, as one unified country called Nam Bet. And since the Emperor of Qing was worried that it would give them claim, they compromise on the name of Vietnam. Quite fascinating, very, very fascinating. There's also these pillars, like you can see way off in the distance there. They're to mark that this is a holy ground and a solemn resting place. You actually don't go through that at all when you approach by the modern roads, but presumably those were put up, and I assume you would have approached more so in that direction back in the day instead of from that direction. I'm sure there was a lot of like Chinese, what do you call that? Where you attribute like different things to different directions. I forget the name of that. If you like nature and you're interested in the history of Vietnam, yeah, definitely worth a visit. Just as a disclaimer, for anybody else visiting, you should walk around a bit more than I did because there is definitely a little bit more to the grounds. I believe the tomb is what I saw, but there's a few other smaller minor mausoleums and things like that. So yeah, I should looked at that before I took the ride out. Oh. Here's the other reason to visit Huey. It's the Perfume River. And the mausoleums actually run pretty much right along it. I mean, not quite, like, they kind of expand from the city center, really. It's cool that some of them are like along the river, so you get to kind of take the sights in, if you will. There's 3 entrances way far ahead in the middle of the stone gate and the one that we use. Supposedly, only this one's ever been used since the erection of the tomb. Min Mung's temple. No, mausoleum. So this is the mausoleum of the second emperor on the Nguyen line. And apparently the tomb's only open once a year on the anniversary of his death. Which, a bit unfortunate. There's those pillars again. There's one there. There's one far away there. This must be the mausoleum, I suppose. That must be it. With the walls. I don't think you can get in. Yeah. It's a pretty cool place. A lot of restoration work's been done. Looks like they're continuing to do more restoration work. Quite a refreshing change of pace in architecture coming from the other Southeast Asian countries and their pillar style construction. These are more Sino style of buildings. About an hour to wander around, take some photos, take everything in. I admire for them to wanting to be buried in nature. It's beautiful out here. Also really hot. Along the roads, like going from mausoleum to mausoleum, first of all, great scenery, as I've alluded to before. But it's also like, there's like small temples and mausoleums like everywhere. Right? Ones that are not on the map. Temples, graveyards, that's pretty cool. A lot more crowded. This is Kai Den's mausoleum. Oh, I see why though. I'm glad I brought my walking shoes instead of my riding boots, but I should have brought a hat. It's really hot. Actually legible. So this one's nestled into like the side of a mountain and built like a castle. This place is pretty incredible. And it's kind of like the grounds are small, but the building is amazing. And I think it's weird and even a little unsettling to think about that this was built less than 100 years ago. Or like about close to 100 years ago now. Like, unlike the previous two mausoleums, there's actually pictures of this place under construction, as well as the emperor's funeral, as well as, what's the other thing? Him actually alive, you know, like an actual photo of, which you kind of look at these places and you think like relics of the past, but it really isn't. I saw this on the map. I was really curious because apparently it's a abandoned water park. Do you have a break for that? Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you keep me and including bicycle and water
Okay.
first. And around like come back have a sit here one drink more free.
Okay.
Cola, Pepsi, pineapple, sugar cane, total
Sure.
free.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Come
you.
back here buy bicycle and water first. Okay.
Okay.
And come back here one drink more.
This is an abandoned water park. All these statues. There's a few locals here running sort of they like, okay, they didn't ask me to pay. All they asked for was a tip, first of all, which is, I much prefer they ask me to pay personally. They're providing a bicycle, and they're also providing me with cold water and a drink at the end of my ride. So I guess I can't, fault them for what they're providing. I just gave them 100. That's like the smallest note I had lying around that was in 5-digit denomination. Wait, no, that's 6 digits. But still, man, it has been a long bloody time since I've ridden a bicycle though. And apparently they keep it clean, which I believe they definitely do. Looks like there's a few abandoned structures here as well. I test things a bit more when I ride motorcycles, but kind of forgot bicycles also have brakes. That thing doesn't have a brake. It only has a brake on this side, which also isn't great. Let's see. I should be wary of like dogs and bats, I guess. Huh. The hell is this? Is this like a spaceship simulator or something? I don't know. That's pretty neat though. Like they just do this. I guess it brings in some income for the locals. It's a huge, huge plot of land that's going completely, utterly unused. So I'd rather this than it's sitting around doing nothing. It's been a bloody hot minute since I've ridden a bicycle. I think last time was in, oh god, was that Thailand? Shit, that's like 5 months ago. I mean, before that, it was like a year ago. So I guess this is closer. I keep forgetting bicycles don't have engine braking. This thing also barely has brakes. It's a funny sensation there, complete loss of control. I think I found the water park. So I guess the rest of it must have just been like decorations or something. Whoa, it's kind of trippy actually. So let's see, a floaty pool, a wave pool by the looks of it, or at least a beach pool, and some hydro slides. Oh man, I kind of want to climb onto one of those. I only worry about getting a staph infection from, falling in there. I wonder when this thing shut down. Yeah, there's definitely a wave pool. Yeah, this is a wave generator. Oh, that's cool. There's floaties. So how do you get to the top of the entrance? Oh, you gotta go around the other side. Okay. That's quite fascinating. I just don't think there's enough. This seems too small. Like, what would the maximum occupancy for this be like? Like 300? Including people not in the pool? I don't know. This seems really small. There it is, the hydro slides. Man, this is creepy. I think I'm gonna stop here, have a look. Squeak, squeak, squeak. I instinctively reached out to turn the ignition off. Up. I love the decorations people have put up over time. Looks like this used to be like the shower room, right? Hopefully this is structurally sound. Doesn't seem like it's seen dynamic load in quite some time. Oh shit, some of the tiles are moving around a little under my feet. I think this kind of dates it. There's provisions for railings. Someone's ripped them all out. Damn. I wonder why this went out of commission. Safety, not enough people. On the left, look. It's a dragon. What is this? I mean, yeah, okay, I know it's a dragon. Thanks, but this is wild. I love it. Let's see. It's like stepping on paper mache. Oh, that's a shark. And a stingray. Oh, this is pretty cool actually. I want to try and getting up there. For there. No, I bet this was an aquarium. It was a lot of fun over there in the abandoned park. Met a Australian guy, and we had a, holy shit, what time is it? It's like 3 o'clock. We talked for like 2 hours, sitting on top of the little dragon mouth thing. And then we also, what else did we do? Oh yeah, well, he had a beer. I don't know how he's having a beer, and he's riding a pedal bike in this heat. I don't know how he's doing that. But yeah, very cool. He's an accountant. We're gonna meet up later for a drink. He's gonna watch the footy game. Rugby game, I think, actually. I'm not really a sports guy, but I don't know. I like meeting new people, you know? That's a good bit of fun. I haven't had like a full-on English conversation in quite some time. Not since Muine, actually. So that was a good change of pace for me. I've had a good conversation here and there with like Vietnamese people. It's different with like native speakers, because you can kind of use idioms. Also, I saw this, there's a little go-kart track here. I'd love to take a bike and just like bang around on that, but anyway. Okay, so this is the official residence of Kai Den, the emperor. It's like a very French, European style of building, like the stuccos and the pillars. I think by this point, the French had taken over. By Kai Den's time, was like there's like traditional, more Sino-style structures in the front. So there's a good blend of it. And then you have these like room decors, which are very, very not French or European. Inlaid dark wood, that's very Sino. That's pretty neat. I like that they preserved the waterfront. There's like a full-on boardwalk. That's awesome. What's not awesome is having to cross this bridge on foot. Absolutely no shade. Just put a little pathway under the bridge. Yeah. As you can see, I did not pass my civil engineering course. I mean, even these guys do bridges better than us. They got 3 fucking bridges. We can't even build a second half of bridge in Auckland. I've come to see the Citadel today. And given the gigantic Vietnamese flag, I would hazard a guess that that is indeed the Citadel. It was dawning on me, it's not entirely clear how you get into the Citadel. I kind of assumed this was the entrance, but I see a bridge over there. Okay. You just have to cross this crossing. Oh. Of course, any good defensive structure needs a nice moat. Some beautiful, beautiful cannons. Okay, See a lot of movement up there. I've just come off the path because, my god, I need some shade. There's a brick wall here I'm just gonna follow down there. Hopefully that's the entrance and not just like service entrance and I get told to go around like at the Thai Royal Temple. Okay, perhaps I made the wrong choices in life because this brick wall is now covered and I can't actually see where my footing is. I would have escaped there, but there's a big dip and even more grass. So anyway, back on the path. What I should have done. It's just hot. It's too hot for 7 a.m. It looks like it's also gonna be really crowded. Okay. I think these are the 7 holy cannons. I only see 4 of them. Alright, I'm in the cathedral now. Looks like there's a predefined walking path. Given there's signage along the wall, I think you can get up there. And I actually see a little rampart there, presumably for access for, you know, horse carriages to drag cannons up there and stuff. I think people are just not going there because it's just too hot. It's pretty cool seeing a lot of these people in like traditional garbs. That's a secondary moat. Oh wow. Okay, so double layered. Right, this must be the inner citadel. Okay, the main palace hall has some amazing, striking gold and red lacquer pillars, and they said no photos or videos, so I didn't, but definitely worth seeing. What's on the outside is a fraction of what it is. It's like there's a lot of restoration work going on as well. Alright, I think that's saying it's due to be completed by 2029. Huh. So I guess I should come back in about 10 years' time. Happy. This is the one air-conditioned room. I think this is a photo shooting room. Yeah, it is. It's a studio. But it's pretty neat. I don't know if they're replicas. I presume they are. But there's shops renting outfits on both sides. Let's see. Looks like there's a few events here. Late at night. So a change of guards, training a martial. Oh, that's pretty cool. If I knew this, I would have come at night. Number 3, 4, 5, and 6 looks like it's been blocked off, so I gotta go along to the Hien Lam Pavilion and go around the outskirts, I think. Alright. I'm gonna be honest, I think this place has better city planning than most modern cities. There's a ring road on the outside and a grid system. Like, hey, people figured this out that long ago, why can't we figure this out now? I don't know. Anyway, I've had to break out the little goblin. Just like... this way. Why did I decide I'll walk here? I have to walk back. So this is the temple to honor the past emperors. And I just realized the courtyard has grid lines so that people who come to honor him can line up and do their prostrations. Presumably, the mandarins, which are what the Imperial scholars were called. There's just so much here. I've already been here for an hour and I've only seen like the center and one corner of it. It's an unbelievable amount of stuff here. Now I read that this black stuff is apparently due to humidity, and it's quite common in Hui and just everywhere. Very fascinating. And some form of biofilm. Looks like this is also in honor of. Yeah, they're definitely shrines. It's more on the other side. Like this is just this so big. I'm really enjoying this about the heritage sites in Hui for this, because these were destroyed so recently, due to relatively modern wars. There's pictures of what they were like back in the day. And now we can have 3D recreations, modern architectural practices, and preservation work done. It's very cool. Just judging by all the pillars here, this would have been quite a magnificent temple here. Oh my god. This is so cool. It's so gorgeous. Like, okay, aside from the floods of mosquitoes you'd probably get, I'm gobsmacked, man. Look at those water droplets and the lily pads. I come in peace. No, no, no. I'm unkind. I come in peace. Oh my golly god. That's all like alright. Really like this place. So there's a lot of nature here. Not a lick of shade. But this place is friggin' gorgeous. What the hell? I can just imagine myself walking down here with hands clasped behind my back with a thinking face on and probably just thinking about something stupid like milk or cereal first, which is the right way to do it. This must be more of a residential thing. There's a tennis court there, and that looks sort of like a Sino-European style of like Sino-European mixed style of building. Wow, that is incredible detail, huh?
Không phải này, cái này không phải hoa lại, hoa lại bún cà.
Okay, I think I kind of realize why Hui feels so special. It's because in everywhere else in Southeast Asia, well, okay, just about everywhere else in Southeast Asia, you go to any sort of monument or a historical site, and it's skyscrapers everywhere in the background. But Hui is clean. Is that the right way to put it? Yeah, it's special. Citadel, definitely worth a visit. Make sure you bring a hat and a lot of ice water. It's like a living museum, if you will. And there's some parts where it's really peaceful and tranquil and quiet. I love it. This is Duk's temple, and not temple, mausoleum. In the temple, there's 3 kings in there. I think the god was really bored because he gave me a bit of an explanation, which no one's done before. I think the big thing is that this place is so empty. There's no one else here. Huh. There was meant to be 2 pillars. Is it a pillar to something else? I'm the only one here. Interesting. The central door has no windbreaker, unlike the side doors. I've always seen a windbreaker on a doorway around these parts. Oh. These must be the actual tombs. So I don't know much about this emperor in particular. It was just kind of on the way to another one. I heard it's nice and quiet, that's why I came. And it's definitely very, very nice and quiet. There's a second pillar. Kind of thought, approach from that direction, but no, original approach must have been from that direction. I feel like I'm finding myself riding through graveyards too often recently. I guess people have been living here for a long time. Oh, hold on. These are Christian graves. Interesting. Probably Catholic, right? Yeah. And then right next to it is, well, these are Buddhist graves. lot of symbolism. Yeah, wow, okay. Very religiously diverse and integrated graveyard. Hey, goats. Hello. Oh, hello. There are a lot of goats. I think those are yaks, mountain goats, serows, Asian serows. Just like back home. Don't freak out when cows start running. That's the Vietnamese safari experience, right? Roadside goats and cows. A plus. I would do that again. Oh, I love the smell here. It's the pine tree smell. This is the only spot my ticket hasn't worked for, but it's 30,000, so, you know. Looks like I've got the whole place to myself. Oh, guess I get to share it with the fishes, but do they know I'm here? Sorry guys, I don't have anything to give you. It's called the Huan Tran Cultural Center. Supposedly quite a few different structures and statues, but I'll see how I go, because it does seem like it requires a fair bit of walking. I need to read up more on it, but supposedly it's a very famous princess, also the one that I showed you from the inside. Apparently it's a relatively new structure built in 2006. It's very empty. It's meant to be a mixture of royalty related structures and Buddhism. Doesn't seem like it gets much love though. Oh, hello dragon. This is 108 meters long, apparently. I don't know, that looks way longer than 108 meters to me. All these damn steps though. Alright, go hide in the shade. I'm sure I've showed this off before, but fever spray is like the only way I can beat this heat. Anywhere that's like high contact with my bag, I just spray. Let the chemical do the work. It's just alcohol. It's probably terrible for my skin, but it's not like I've got anybody looking at it, so I'm not too bothered. I'll say the only thing I'm concerned about is I don't know what has died. These bands, I bought this from Chian Tactical, an EDC bag maker based in Ho Chi Minh. And, but they do this 1,000 denier ballistic nylon burnt orange straps and bags, which I really love the look of. I'm just really hoping that the alcohol doesn't make it bleed. I doubt this is the princess anymore. Looks like a king, right? I just love these East Asian motifs. And this abalone inlay darkwood furniture. I've always been in love with this aesthetic, even though it's like old-fashioned now. You know, when I said that I think I had this place all to myself, I thought I was exaggerating. You know, surely there'd be a guard or two or somebody sweeping. No, there's a pair of shoes over there, but that's the only sign of life I've seen. What a nice little tranquil place. It's actually a Zen Buddhist monastery somewhere along there. I can just hear the chanting, which is pretty cool. Surprised that Zen Buddhism is big as it is here. Thought that was more of a Korea, Japan thing rather than a... Always thought Vietnam was mostly Confucian Buddhism or Mahayana Buddhism. And some mixture of the two, of course. I better not get lost. Fun fact about these pine trees though. So since they are coniferous, they are softwoods, you know, soft squishy insides. But I believe the ones found in this region and India, so Vietnam and India, are slightly different to the other types of pines. The pine trees found in New Zealand forests are about half as hard as these guys. So these guys are twice as hard as the pine trees found in New Zealand. However, pine trees just don't grow very thick, and they grow tall, quite lanky, usually with lots of twists and lots of branches, so they get lots of knots. Not exactly nice wood to be working with, all things considered. Yeah, see? Rest stop areas that clearly hasn't been used for a long time. I'm fairly positive to say that this seems like quite a forgotten tourist area, unfortunately. I guess not a hell of a lot of people want to walk around in the woods in this heat. There's a laughing Buddha. I believe he's actually not a Bodhisattva. So like, he's more of a venerated person than an actual Buddha, if that makes sense. Christian monastery. I just find it really, really fascinating because that is a Vietnamese style pagoda. So that's very much a Buddhist thing. I can't go in, but I can kind of observe the architecture. It's like very Sino-European, but more Sino than European. It's the mausoleum of Thieu Tri. I don't know, but I think it might actually be my favorite so far. Nice taste and having a nice lily pad pond nestled into the side of a pine forest. It smells gorgeous. It's not a big mausoleum, but I just can't get over how serene it is. Looks like, yeah, there's a lot of restoration work going on in there's a stele of steel, some monument there, and then past that is actually, I think the actual mausoleum where I was at is just a temple. I don't think I can get to that. Really like this tree though. I just love the nature here. It's so gorgeous. What is this? It's clearly another mausoleum. Well, I don't know where I am. I just kind of like went down a random road. No, the door's closed though. I'm like on my way to another mausoleum. Yeah, it's definitely some sort of mausoleum. Oh no, I'm in the backwoods, nowhere, somewhere. Yes, a bamboo grove. Nice and cool. Okay. It looks like the one I passed through was Than Kung. This is Dong Khan's mausoleum. Quite a highly rated one, but there's like nobody else here. This is pretty unique. Colored glass pane windows. Oh, okay. So I guess that's the temple, and the mausoleum's up this way. This must be it. The last resting place. So, see those gates? They're to mark where the holy sites are, or like places that go from the realm of the mortal to the holy or the spirit. There's quite a few floating around. I was looking into those and it turns out they're all derived from Torada gates from Indian Buddhism. Except unlike what you probably know as torii gates in Japanese culture, and also we have something very similar in Korea, these ones, the Vietnamese ones, are made with not wood, so stone and steel, because the humidity in these parts was just eat away at any sort of wooden gates, really. Very fascinating to me, actually, just seeing all those connections. Must be another mausoleum. Looks like it. Interesting. There's more over there. No path and doors closed, so I won't go, but this place is massive. There's a place, there's two dukes mausoleum. Looks like they're working on it, unfortunately. This is one of the few places I haven't seen no camera signs. So I guess I will indulge, since it's kind of rare for me to be able to film the inside of these places. If I do see a sign, I will delete this. You see that? That fish with an open mouth? That's a gutter. That's freaking awesome for a gutter.
我去你馬裝啦，這個未行。
It's durian. It's wild durian. It's always so weird seeing these grow. Like apple trees, you know? This place has quite a lot of people, but it's so big that you barely see other people. Except for all the sightseeing spots. It's quite nice. What happened to this building? You know, the only thing I wish they could improve upon in all the mausoleums around these parts is that there's very little explanations. You usually get about 1 or 2 plaques explaining who the emperor was, and maybe a family tree. That's about it. Like, what happened to this building? What was this building originally? Was it a storehouse? Somewhere the workers stayed in? Why was it destroyed? Was it the war or the other war? Was it bombed by the US? I don't know. I just wish there was a little bit more to, I like reading when I'm at these places. It's part of the fun for me. At least at the really big sites, you get the occasional plaques. Very classy too, because they're all in marble, like actual marble, which I think is pretty cool. But there's really not much here. Like, where was she born? What was her role in the empire? I really kind of want to poke it. Oh no, I shouldn't. But I kind of want to poke it. That's... That's sketchy as hell, because you got blind corners coming into both directions. Oh, man. What about the Citadel? Yeah, Citadel is just like integrated into the way of life here. Museum of Royal Antiquities. Antiquities? Huh. It's an old palace. I love old cannons. They all get, you know, a cool name. This was a gift. Governors in French Indochina to Emperor Thantai. Huh. It's so weird. It's like, it's so out of place compared to everything else in here. It's a very European vase. I have to say, it's a pretty nice change of pace here actually, because you go to any museum in Vietnam, at least so far, right? And maybe things change as I go a bit more north. But pretty much every museum is like a dedication to Ho Chi Minh or the recent wars. So it's really nice to be able to see the more older history of Vietnam. If you think about it, it isn't even that old of a history because, well, it's so recent, there's even photos of actual events, you know? It's not just portrait drawings and paintings. Nice museum. Not enough air conditioning. Not enough seating either. I could sit out here, stare at some architecture for a bit, but good English explanations, and it's actually managed to put quite a few things into context for me. So, nice little museum to bundle with your visit to the Citadel. It's a short walk down from there. This is the Esplanade. Esplanade. Why is there a Spanish word? Is that Spanish? Anyway, this is where like all the big royal, you know, events took place, supposedly. Nam Giao Esplanade. Yeah, there's not a hell of a lot here. I just find it fascinating because there's basically a giant road surrounding this place. I guess 4 roads surrounding this place in all 4 directions. And this is I guess the stage. As usual, I'm here all by myself. I can't imagine that many tourists would find this very fascinating because complete lack of photographable materials other than this beautifully dense pine tree forest in the middle of the city. That's quite nice here, nice and chill. You got the cicadas, you got the faint sound of traffic, which fades out much quicker than you think. So supposedly the last ceremony here was held in 1946 by the Nguyen Emperor at the time. But if you come here on Hui Day, like the celebration day, they reenact the rituals apparently. So that's pretty cool. If I can ever time it, I'm sure I'd be excited to see it. if you just go straight down, like follow this and look straight down, and you had godly eyesight, this would line up exactly with the front gate of the Citadel. That's pretty cool. It does seem to me that unless you're like a deep history nerd, this place might not be of much interest. What has happened to the camera? I hope that doesn't show in post. What the Hello? Colors are all weird on my screen. Okay, I think it's fixed. What was I saying? Because there's still 50 Ks to get in here. And, I mean, that's like a good meal around here, you know? And that's the same price as like a lot of the minor mausoleums, which has a lot more to see. For me, this is lumped in with the price of the big ticket I got for 12 sites. For that, it's alright for a 5-minute walk. But if you're a tourist without your own transport, it's probably not worth grabbing all the way out here for just this. This temple is amazing. What is this called again? Chua Chu Hui? It's on the outskirts of Hui. The inside of that building is just so gorgeous. It's dark wood, and you can just smell the years. I wanted to go a little bit further in, but there was a lot of I think they're monks in training, doing their readings and stuff, and I don't want to become a disturbance to them. There's a few, I think that there's a outer temple, and there's a few more on the inside. I could have walked it further in, but I just don't think it's the right thing to do. There do be a bell though. Yeah, this place is just so nice and quiet and peaceful. Like, this has to be one of my favorite temples I've been to. This is more solid than some of the other ones I've been on. Chooks. These are the healthiest looking chickens I've seen in a while. Hello. There's some really cool reliquaries in here. So I think this place is not very often visited because it's kind of far. It's not really far. It's about a 20-minute drive. It wasn't very clear how I get back. Because there's only one and it doesn't run regularly. We'll see. Oh, that's a cool old tigers then. Love it. So apparently this place was originally a Cham people's temple, who were on the southern side of Vietnam. And then when the Vietnamese conquered, they kind of took over and they rebranded it. Oh, rebrand might not be the right word, or an appropriate word. And they also began worshipping here. I think there's a story that goes something like a jade cup and it being returned to the emperor or something like that. Quite an interesting place. And very cool. I like the secluded nature of it. Kind of looks like Yong, so like the sea god. Wait, it's not that story about a man that gets on the back of a turtle, goes to the kingdom of the sea god, and then he gets given a gift that he's told not to open, but turns out time flows in the sea kingdom differently than to the outside world. So when he opens that box, he ages rapidly and all the time catches up with him. And I think he gets married to the sea god's daughter or something as well. And it's the daughter who gives that box to him or something. Yeah, it's not that story, is it? I know that's in Korean and Japanese. I don't know about Chinese or Vietnamese, so I don't know. No, there's no cup involved in that. Pretty cool place though. This is actually so cool. So this is quite a distinctively Theravada Buddhist stupa, which typically actually don't have rooms inside that people can live in. That's more of a Mahayana thing. That looks like it was modeled right after the Mahabodhi temple where the Buddha supposedly attained enlightenment. But it's actually so interesting seeing a Theravada style stupa in a Mahayana country and having that stupa right next to very, very Vietnamese style of temple buildings. That's actually, I don't know, this is such breathtaking beauty right here. That's so cool. I haven't seen anything like this in any, like Theravada Buddhism isn't really that big in Vietnam, you know. This is Temple Huan Kong, just outside the city center. It's very zen here, pun intended. This is Thien New Pagoda. I think I got pretty lucky. I got to see there must have been 108 mantras, or 108 sutra sightings, readings. Oh, I think this tree, completely off topic, it must have come down with a lightning strike. Yeah, that bone mark. This is what happens to trees when they get hit by lightning. All the bark comes off. That's pretty cool. It's kind of weird seeing a barbed wire fence. It's really busy, but only at the front. As soon as you get past the main prayer hall, there's like no one anywhere. It's quite nice actually.
Dạ mời mọi người qua bên này ạ, bên này nha.
Oh yeah, good on them. I could never in this heat. There's a Starbucks in there.
Không có nè. Ai trong đó không ai